Well, good morning. Sun's out. It rained all day yesterday, practically no breaks. 10-15 minutes here and there. I was able to get out of the Jeep, get out of the tent, come down, see the lake, but no activities whatsoever. Met an interesting couple here. They just left. The woman was a retired school teacher. She was out in her kayak earlier yesterday. She didn't care about the weather. She was out looking for bones and pieces of wood, just things that they collect. Leon was a retired long hauler and in construction, and they've been all over the place. In fact, they're telling me I need to get to Alaska a lot quicker than maybe my 10-year plan called for. They said it's an amazing place. So today I'll pack up and go over to Machias Lake. With the beautiful weather, I should be able to get my kayak in and do a little fishing again today. There's nobody here other than, this is only like a 3 campsite area, so there's really nobody here, especially now with Leon and his wife gone. So grab a little breakfast, quick breakfast, pack up. Right now it's about quarter of 8. I should be out of here before 8:30 with no problem. It's not a long ride today. I think it's 30 odd miles. So hopefully I'm looking for a good day. It's a dry day. I have some things that need to dry out, that's for sure. And today's day number 5, and more than halfway home. Okay, that was interesting. Just got to a point where literally the road pretty much ended. It just got so dense. I think that I got it on my GoPro pretty well, but it was a little hairy. You had a back out of the situation. Which reminds me, I have to take my guard down. I pulled it up so I can back up. I think I found a different route, so I'm headed back there and we'll see how that works out. But boy, that was an experience. Lots of fun. Well, welcome. This is the Machias River campsite, site number 2. I'll explain that in a second. As you can see, it's a nice site. It even has a, if I was in a tent, it's a nice little tent cabin there. But boy, I've never worked so hard for a campsite in my life. Originally, I was coming to Machias Lake. That's where this is. I mean, it's not on the lake, it's on the river. The lake was Well, I had a couple of campsites, but neither one of them were actually on the lake. They were really just off the road, and they weren't that. And they were nice sites, but they weren't didn't have any views. Let's put it that way. Not like this one with the river. I'll show you in a minute. But anyways, the original way to get to Machias Lake, it was cut off. It was literally, the path ended. I have some tape of that. Hopefully I'll put that in the story. So I had to turn around, and then I couldn't find another way to get back up towards Machias Lake. So I had to stay on the main lumber road, and it was taking me towards the 20-mile marker, 20-mile checkpoint. So I almost gave up. I said, I might as well just get gas, resupply, and then I'll just go to one of the sites that one of the three campsites that I was planning on doing the last few days anyways. Hey, Chipmunk. But the road ended up veering a little bit more west. It was so hard to see on the Gaia map where the roads were actually going. So it was veering a little to the left. It was at a different gatehouse, but it was kind of pushed me towards Machias. So I said, what the heck, I got enough gas, let's go do it. So I drove all the way to Machias Lake. Like I said, I had trouble finding a campsite. Was going to turn around again. And so I had passed 2 on the way, so I checked those on the way back, and I said, where's the third one? There's supposed to be 4. But I had no idea on the map. I couldn't find it on the map. But there was a third one on the way back, supposedly. So when I came back, I just went slowly, and it wasn't marked. The trail wasn't marked. I said, but that has to be it. It's about where it is on the map. So I took the turn and came down the path. And when I got to the site, which wasn't this one, it was another one, it was already occupied. And I said, oh boy, okay. So I headed back out. And as I was going out, I noticed this offshoot road. And I said, what the heck, let's try it. Maybe it's another site. I had no idea how many there were. So I went down it, and sure enough, that's where this campsite was. And as you can see, it's right on Machias River. It's actually pretty nice. It's not a big river, it's just a small stream kind of thing, but still pretty, has a nice sound to it. You can see the stream up and down. I don't think I'll be doing any fishing, or I definitely won't be doing any kayaking, but I'll enjoy the site. And keeping my butt here for the night anyways, because I've had enough for one night, or one day. A lot more driving than I expected. It was supposed to be like 37, 38 miles, and I have done at least 60 with all the detours. So anyways, I'll enjoy this, and we'll catch up later. Well, good morning. Broke camp a few hours ago. It's about 10:30 right now. And already went into Ashland, got some gas, got some supplies, ice, just some basic, didn't need very much. Got some water. Women there was very nice, let me fill it at the fill up my water at one of the countertops in the back near the kitchen. Anyways, headed back in. Going to, never remember the name of this place. Munsungan Lake. We'll spend tonight at Munsungan Lake, then I think I go to Indian Pond, and then final 2 days at something that begins with a U. Got another Indian name I just can't pronounce right now. Weather's supposed to be kind of cloudy, rainy for the next few days. I finally had some internet, so I was able to connect and see what that was going to be like. So we'll see. As long as the rain doesn't get too bad, I'm in for the next 4 days. If it really, really gets so damp and wet, then I'll check out early, but hopefully not. Had a good night last night. Got cold. This morning when I woke up, it was just above 50, so I'm sure it was down in the low 40s over at night. And again, with no sun, I'm sure it's going to stay on the cooler side. I think it's only in the 60s right now. So with that, we'll head back into the North Maine Woods and continue the adventure. That was a bust. Munsungan Lake is not a destination spot, at least not for camping. One path to, I think, where a couple of the sites was actually blocked off by a fence. The other one, which was called Little Munsungan, was a mud hole. Couldn't actually get down all the way to the lake. There was a couple of sites that were really dilapidated. Looks like nobody has been down there for a long time. But with all the rain as well, it was really just impossible to pass, at least by myself. I would never try it myself. There were a couple of sites farther off the road, not road, but the lake. But they were pretty scummy too. So go to Plan B. Plan B is to head off to Indian Lake or Indian Pond, which is tomorrow night's site, and hopefully that'll be a little bit nicer and the sites will be available. So let's go see. Okay, well, Indian Pond's a strikeout. The main campsite's already occupied, and I came to a second one called Indian Stream. There were sites available, but it was like at a pit, not even near the water at all. So it's not really something I'm that interested in staying. If I needed a spot for the night, and that was my only objective, then hey, I'd camp. Wouldn't be a big deal. But I'm going to head a little bit more southwest, keep going, see what I can find. Again, what's a good adventure without a few twists and turns, right? So let's go for it. Success. After a long drive, this is day 6, a long drive. I'm actually in the spot where I was supposed to be on day 8 and 9. But I tried every place else without success. But this place is magnificent. I don't know if I can, I took this spot here, which as you can see, is just a nice spot right out to the water. But there is another spot back here. And then there's a third spot right here in the water. But I took this one because I could pull the Jeep up and deploy the awning. Kind of get some nice coverage. And then I can sit out here and just look at the water at night with the fire. Plan on staying here 2 nights, possibly 3, but at least 2. So overall a success. Wasn't easy, but a success, and that's what counts. I'm going to be able to fish. As long as the weather stays, I'll have the kayak out. This should be really cool. I'm really looking forward to this. Nice. Nice. Okay, baby. The storm's coming this way, I guess. Low. I don't see any lightning, but the thunder's rumbling. But no rain. So the rains came. Well, good morning. It's day 7. Rainy night, rainy morning so far. It's only about 10 minutes of 9 so at the moment. Don't know what the weather forecast is supposed to be like. Supposedly southeast of here it's partly sunny, so trying to watch the clouds. They look like they may be breaking up a little bit, but it's hard to tell. Had a talkative visitor with me last night. Interesting character, I guess, is the best way to say it. Comes up here for the quiet, yet he hasn't stopped talking to anybody around here since since he arrived. Me last night, and then the guy on the other side this morning. And then that guy left, and another guy immediately pulled in, and he hasn't stopped talking to him either. So, kind of an odd character. Not a bad guy, just an odd character. So, we'll see how the weather goes. It's a little cool, in the 50s. So with the wet and the cool, it's not the most comfortable, but I think you can tell right now it seemed to have stopped just in the last couple of minutes. So we'll see how that goes. Here for one night no matter what. Definitely going to be here for one more night. Makes no sense to pack up, especially not just because everything's wet, but I want to get at least 7 full days, 7 nights in at a minimum. And I don't want to give up yet. It's not what I'm going to do, not give up in terms of the weather. So we'll see how it goes. I'll cast a fishing pole a few times, see what, as long as the rain stops a little bit. Don't know about the kayak. I'm not crazy about the weather right now to just go out in the kayak and get even more wet, so that probably will not happen. But yeah, it's Sunday, I think. And we'll see how today goes. Good morning. Just before 8 o'clock on day number 8. I broke camp about 25 minutes ago and started driving. As you can see, the weather is anything but looking good. So I think it's time to end this adventure and go home. First decision I need to make here is if this is the right path I'm going to be on. The road was on a much better maintained road, and then all of a sudden it turned into this. Now, this is the one on the map. And there isn't, although there was another turn up there, that one wasn't on the map, so at least not on the Gaia map. So I got to check out the North Maine Woods map a little bit better. Anyways, last night was a perfect night, quite honestly. So it was a good way to end this. The sun came out about 5 o'clock and lasted all night. Clear skies, beautiful moon, great fire, sitting by the lake. Actually couldn't have asked for anything better. It was really what you would call a perfect evening, camping evening. So a good way to end this. I have no disappointments really. It's a couple of days early, but I've went from a distance perspective. I went everywhere. I checked out everything. Obviously, a couple of sites didn't work out. If it wasn't so rainy and wet, I'd probably spend another night or two. But quite honestly, I got my fill, so this is good. So get back in the car, figure out where the hell I'm going to end up going, and then head home. Nice adventure. Challenge to get here. I was trying to get here. That's the path. But as you can see from my previous footage, I had to go through some kind of rough patches to just get here. This is a kind of a cut through. I wasn't sure this would actually be a road based on everything else that I've seen, but pretty. There's supposedly a campsite around here. I'm going to check that out just so that I know future reference. That sky is ugly though, isn't it? It's like it's gonna pour. Been a lot of water around here in the last few days. You can see everything is pretty well, everything is high. You can see from this little patch over here how much of the land has been covered, or all the grasslands. It's been a lot of coverage. So anyways, onward we go. Like I said, this is an adventure.
My trip to the North Maine Woods was everything I hoped for when I decided to explore northern Maine during the summer of 2019. Its beauty is not in the majesty normally associated with epic landscapes, such as the Grand Canyon or the peaks of the Rocky Mountains. Instead, it derives its beauty from the vast wilderness it encompasses. Thick forests, outlining glorious waterways, touch the inner soul of anyone who loves the outdoors. As a landscape photographer, I quickly recognized that I would not be getting portfolio images here. In fact, I never even bothered to take the DSLR out of its carrier. This country is not meant for tourists seeking comfort, but instead for those people looking to regain their connection to nature in its raw form. If you come here for entertainment, then forget it. If you seek the peace and quiet of nature and the simple pleasures of motorless boating, fishing, and in-season hunting, then this is your place. This was my first trip to the area, but based on what I have experienced, it will not be my last.
And that's pavement.